New Thought Media Network is proud to present Cosmic Prayers, your weekly shift, Mondays at 11 Mountain Time, with your host, Laura Topper. The Cosmic Prayers, live from the UK. And now, here she is, Laura Topper.
Hi, and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. You are here on New Thought Media Network. My name is Laura Topper, and I'm so excited to be here with you this Monday afternoon, my time. I know it's morning for you, Mountain Time, or if you're in the US. Today is such an exciting show. We have an incredible guest here on the Cosmic Prayer. As you may know or may not know, if this is your first time here, every single week we celebrate prayer, how prayer has its different way of expressing itself in our lives. And this week is just so amazing because our guest is somebody who is used to prayer and yet doesn't obviously admit that prayer is his way of being with what he does. He's a singer and songwriter, multi-platinum award-winning songwriter and Posse award-winning artist too, and his uplifting songs and his husky, heartfelt vocals have graced the stages and reached and touched hearts of thousands and thousands of people, I would say, on our planet. He's worked with celebrated guests such as Bobby Womack and Patti LaBelle and Rod Stewart and the Temptations, and the list goes on and on. And I'm just so pleased that Harold Payne is here right now on the Cosmic Prayer to share his songs and his message with us here today. Welcome, Harold, to the Cosmic Prayer.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. And to be there.
And to be everywhere.
Yes, I set you up for that.
You did. Thank you for that. I'm so pleased that you're here because I know that we've met before. We've met in person too, and when I've been with you before and had these conversations on Sunny Side Up, the radio show that I previously had here in the UK, you came on and you just shared your stories and your songs and the meaning of what you are doing, and it just feels so important, especially right now with what we've all journeyed through and what we're experiencing. And your songs are more than songs, aren't they? I mean, I would view them as prayers. Is that how you view your songs?
I wrote the first time I ever wrote myself a mission statement. It said it was to touch people's lives in a positive way with music. So that's what prayer is to me. With how my music is prayerful in that way.
I love that because that takes away any sense of it having to be some kind of ritual, because we listen to music in such an ad hoc way, don't we? As it comes along, wherever we're hearing it, it's spontaneous.
I like to keep it as open and as far-reaching and universal as I can. It's kind of my natural plebeian sentimentality, I guess, just to kind of, have it reach as many as possible.
So when you wrote that mission statement, was that related to the music that you were writing before you entered into the world of Posse music, or has that always been your agenda with your music?
Well, I maybe I didn't know it at the time, but looking back on it, I remember taking a class at UCLA where I went to school. This was after the fact, and it was about how to make and sell your own record. And they talked about concept-oriented marketing versus artist-oriented marketing. And so I had a group, and I had my solo, and then a woman lead singer in the group. And so I had three entities, and I thought, I want to put out a sampler, and what would a concept be? And I looked back and I thought, you know, it's positive music. I looked back on the first songs I was writing, and it was, you know, most of it was about gratitude, you know, having the life that being blessed with the parents and the family that I have. And so looking back, it was more, I wrote a song called Pass It On. If you can't pay it back, pass it on. And it was kind of a life philosophy for me. And so it was almost like it was there a long time ago, but I hadn't put a bow on it yet.
Okay. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
Pass It On.
I do.
Would you grace us with a few lines from that?
Okay, I don't have to play.
Because I think it's a beautiful message, isn't it? To pass on that love.
I'll play a verse and a chorus from it if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you.
When I think of everyone who's tried to help me, well, it makes me wish that I could find a way to pay them back for all the little acts of kindness that helped me find my way when I was falling from the track. But a grateful man's intentions make him worth his weight in gold. If he can pass it to the next man he finds lost out in the cold. Pass it on, brother, pass it on. If you can't pay it back, then pass it on. Pass it on, sister, pass it on. If you can't pay it back, you got to pass it on.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Certainly.
And that message is as relevant now, isn't it, to when you wrote that, even more relevant now with what we've journeyed and what we're still journeying in our own countries and in our own lives right now. Passing it on.
Yes. It feels like it's, you know, as you say, as apropos or more so than it was then. And I'm trying to think of how many years ago that was. Many, 40 maybe, 35 years.
Wow. And what is that thing you would say pass on? What is it in us as humans that is needed?
Well, just to pass on unconditionally. You know, to me, the beautiful thing, if you do something unconditionally, even though you're not doing it pragmatically, it's the best way to have things come back to you. But that's not your purpose. You know, your purpose is to do it unconditionally. But if you looked at it from an objective standpoint, it's the best way to create something that goes around the world and comes back to you. You know, the reflection of light from you is like a prism, and it flashes, you know, it goes to the next person and the next person and comes back around to you. And even if that's not your intention or reason for doing it, it happens that it's a beautiful thing when it happens that way.
And from what you're saying, I can really hear that is a prayer in itself, because when we're praying, or what I know as prayer, is that connection with this divine greatness that is beyond, and by connecting with that and communing with it and having that sense of inner conversation, that I'm allowing myself to surrender to that unconditional love that is here, knowing that as I'm giving that, it has to come back. That's the way life works. So I think that's a beautiful prayer.
Thank you. I actually have a song called "Unconditional Love" that's just more of a chant that I do also. You know, when you give without expectation, it keeps sending out positive vibrations. This is kind of a sort of a thing. So,
And isn't it
yes,
amazing how when we're conscious of that and aware of that, I believe for me that it comes back in the most unexpected ways that have got
yes,
nothing to do with, well, just things just come back in the most
yeah,
glorious of ways
I believe that.
that we couldn't have made happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you think about, I think about certain incidents, thank you, that, that happened. Uh, being stuck somewhere and some guy came by and helped push my car. Uh, and I remember I said, thanks. I wish I could do something. Just pass it on, brother. And that was, I remember of somebody literally saying that to me, and
Wow.
it's stuck with me. So those, some person all those years ago that said something like that, and then a whole bunch of other incidents like that,
Yes.
that lead to a song, that lead to a prayer, that lead to a life change, that lead to things coming back. It puts it out there in the flow.
Oh yeah, and the song, and then people are listening to the song to get the message as well. So you're kind of like multiplying it and saying, "Come on, everyone, we need to do this. Pass it on." It's
Right, and
beautiful.
sometimes there's a in a way a beautiful anonymity. Like I remember reading about the gentleman that wrote Wichita Lineman, and he was talking about it was a song from a long time, but he was driving down and he saw a lone lineman on a pole in the middle of nowhere, and somehow it inspired this song, and that guy who inspired the song will never probably know that it was him, but
Yeah.
nonetheless that act is like the butterfly flapping its wings, and
Yes.
that image.
The ripple, the vibration and the
Yes.
ripple of that going
Yeah.
out to inspire others. So you've had such an incredible career, or you are having such an incredible career. Hi, Facebook user,
Thanks
whoever
for
you
keeping
are.
it in the present tense.
Yeah, you are. But what I meant by that was, the people that you've worked with, and you're still working with an incredible artists, of course, in the New Thought arena and posi music arena. Amazing artists that you work with and that are household names within our kind of genre of music. And yet before that, you were working with others that were maybe more globally successful,
Right.
celebrity-ish, Bobby Womack and Patti LaBelle, household names that most people would know.
Right.
What was it that kind of shifted you to say, right, okay, that's been an amazing experience, and maybe it still is because you still do that, you still
Yeah,
work with these
I
people?
still do, and,
Yeah.
it's all positive, and it's all good. It's how I got involved in the positive music scene and the new thought music scene is I put out this album, this Power of Positive Music, and people kept saying, you should be playing at these New Thought church. I go, what's a New Thought church? Unity and Center for Spiritual Living, etc., which was called, um, Science of Mind or Church of Religious Science before, and so I just showed up and played, and I thought this feel positive messages, and it was a fit for me, and then I went to a Silomar. I met I think Daniel Nahmod there 21 years ago or something like that, and another woman named Suze Ogden, that gave me my first gig at a New Thought church, and I thought, wow, this is really cool, and it's a place to play the positive music, and so I went to I met Faith Rivera through another organization called Just Plain Folks, a wonderful music organization, and she told me about what was just starting up what became Empower Music and Arts. It was started off as I2I, and I went there, and in one meeting, I met all the people that were, Karen Taylor Good, Karen Drucker, David Roth, Greg Tamblyn, all these wonderful people in that movement that had been in it for a while. And I was like, wow, this is in one swift move. And Janice Stanfield, who's been really important person in my life as well. And so it was a wonderful meeting place.
And
I knew I'd found a home.
It's incredible. And it's just amazing how that happened for you with everyone all at once. It was like you were just ready to step into something really new for your life.
Right.
And Spirit was saying, here you are, Harold.
That's right.
Going to give it to you all at once.
Tapping me on the shoulder.
Yeah. And how did that influence in your personal life, being surrounded then by New Thought artists who that was their way of expressing with music? How did that feel for you? How did that maybe change or enhance your personal life or your outlook even on life?
Well, part of it was the idea that there were a lot of us that were in our own area doing this positive music thing, and there wasn't. I had originally thought about doing a concept-oriented tour and putting out more versions of the power of positive music, and I came across these people who were doing it, and they were much better at that, and I'm really not an administrative type of person anyway, so it was to find a place that I could come and just be myself and find all these places to do it. And it was very encouraging and getting these positive messages. And then I started putting my improv and custom songwriting inspired that, because I started doing recap songs of the lessons, the talks that were going on. I had already been doing improv and custom songs writing it, but I got inspired and to just go for it. It was really another level for me. And I remember the first time I did it, it was at Unity of Tustin, where they really kind of gave me the freedom to go for it. And so I just went up and did a recap song of what she talked about. Now wherever I go, they ask me to do it. No pressure.
Okay, so, no pressure. Would you do a recap song of the Cosmic Prayer at the end? No pressure. I wouldn't put you on the spot like that, Harold.
I'm getting the T-shirt. No pressure. I already have one that says "No time to edit."
I love it.
But it was a beautiful experience to know that there was a home, a place where I could do this music, and then the inspiring talks to every Sunday to be able to go to a new place, and and there are people that go there that also belong to other entities that use it as just a place for a positive, inspiring message, and whatever their background is, or that's what I liked about it, that everyone was welcome, and it just felt like home to me.
And that you are actually, with each song that you sing, and with everybody that listens to one of your songs or listens to you when you're performing, they're hearing something that lights something up in them that reminds them of that positivity of who they are. And that for me, that's a prayer. That's like giving somebody permission to say, hey, this is you. This is you, and you are the spark of the divine, even if that isn't the wording in the song. You're allowing that person to see it for themselves.
Yeah, I feel that my role, if I can put it that way, is to, without necessarily using jargon of a particular religion or group or whatever, it makes it more, for me, my role. We all have our different roles that we play. To me, to make it as universal as possible. And I may not, when I'm in a church or whatever, I may, if I'm doing a recap song, I'm going to use whatever jargon that, but with the songs that I create naturally, I try to be as universal as possible.
Yeah.
That's my own personal way of getting to prayer, if you will. You know.
So shall we? Would you play another song? Would you bring us another song? Share something now.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there
Um,
one that's in your heart that you're feeling? Oh, that one wants to be heard, or that you'd like to share?
okay. I just this is I don't this is just coming to me right now, and I won't play necessarily the whole song,
Yeah. For
but
anyone that's listening and watching now, you're here with Harold Payne on the Cosmic Prayer, sharing his light and his joy with this beautiful song.
this is one that I was playing at a church, and I knew the topic was going to be about angels. So instead of just winging it, sorry for that, I thought, oh, I better find a song, and I thought, it'd be quicker for me to just write one, and so this is what came out. Little girl looked in her mother's eyes and asked the question that could only come from a child. Mommy, are there angels, and do they really fly? Will I know one when I see one? This was her reply. Oh, angels don't always wear wings. They live inside your heart and prayers and dance around your dreams. They echo from the silence of quiet acts of kindness. Oh, angels don't always wear wings. Oh, angels don't always wear wings. I think you're muted.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Unmute. Thank you. That's such a beautiful song. I love that song. I've listened to it quite a few times, and I know it's on your YouTube channel as well, isn't it? That song is on your YouTube channel.
I believe so.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about this improvisation, and I love that, that you can just have that ability to listen to someone in a snapshot and hear a part of a conversation and then just conjure up. It's like making a cake. Ta-da!
Yeah, it's really, and it's funny that it comes, because that's one of the ways that it comes, where I just observe something, and it's really kind of like a mini songwriting session with a very quick deadline. And I've written thousands of songs, and so, and the improv, it started, I actually did a TEDx talk called Preparing for Spontaneity, where I talked about how I learned to improvise, and it really started with forgetting other people's lyrics. And there's a hyper focus that happens when, okay, the show must go on. I've got to say something here. I'm on stage. And that, that intensity of that moment and the focus, and it evolved. The experience of doing it many times becomes a confidence, and that confidence becomes trust. And to me, that's what it's. When people ask me, how do you do that? It's about trust. It's having done it so many times. I think about when we learn to speak. I mean, I'm saying things from the top of my head right now. I have no idea. I'm trusting it's going to come out. I can talk as fast as I want. I can use gestures. It's amazing. And this is that same thing, only, most people don't get to do it 20,000 times first to get comfortable enough to turn that plank into a bridge.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that, to turn that plank into a bridge. So the trust that you can hear somebody and really listen deeply for a really short space of time and then turn it into something that makes sense.
Yeah,
That is
well,
trust.
it's just that it's inculcated in all the songs that that you've written and stuff, and there's the chorus, there's a central theme, and it's funny because I remember I took two songwriting classes, but many, but in the early days, one was very structured. It was like verse, chorus, verse, chorus. This is how you do it. You get a central theme, and then you build around that, and everything pays off to the chorus. And it really makes sense, and a lot of songs are written that way. That was a gentleman named Al Kasha, who won a couple Academy Awards. And then Marilyn and Alan Bergman, who were really famous songwriters. The Way We Were, The
Barbara.
Windmills of Your Mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
they wrote the lyrics to a lot of these great songs, and their process was totally different. It was like we just flow with it, and whatever comes, we don't know where the story is going, rather than getting the central theme first. Yeah. So to me, when I'm improvising, sometimes I know exactly where I'm going to go with it. If somebody says, tacos without hot sauce, then and my mind just starts automatically going, well, what can the story be? And it might be that, that's a gringo, like a non-Latino person, making a bland version of a taco. In my mind, I start creating this thing and where I'm going to go with that. And I don't know why I came up with that, but I'd probably say something like cheesy lyrics or whatever, because there's cheese in it, and it might not turn into a hill of beans, or I start my mind, because I do a lot of wordplay, and
Okay.
and not necessarily to be funny, but just I can't help it, and so it keeps my mind sharp to always be thinking about a double entendre or a wordplay. And I have friends like David Roth and I are doing this all the time when we're traveling and we're trying to one up each other. But so sometimes it's that where I know where it's going, or that I want to take it the opposite way that the person intended. If it's a little bit blue of a thing, I take it another way. And if it's this way, I take it that way. And sometimes I have no idea, from the other Marilyn and Alan Bergman school of thought, of not knowing where it's going to go, and just start vamping and praying,
I'm praying.
yeah, and it works, I land somewhere.
So Diego has a video, I think, that you sent over of something, a video of you improvising.
Okay.
If Diego wouldn't mind putting that up, then for people that are viewing, you're here on New Thought Media Network with Harold Payne, sharing a video now. If Diego is there to get that up, thank you, Diego. Where we can see you in action.
Oh, this is a slightly different thing.
There's a lot of artists that do a solo act, like Ed Sheeran, for instance, and they use pedals, loop pedals, to enhance their performance and add all the other parts. But we've got so many talented people out there that I thought we would do a human loop pedal here. So glad we made it. So glad we made it. Keep it going. So glad we made it. So glad. Get ready, group 2. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You got it. Even up in the balcony. Even up in the balcony. Even up in the balcony. Yeah. Sending love to everyone. Sending love to everyone. Sending love to everyone. Sending love to everyone. Yeah. You know this guy?
Okay,
Thank you, Diego. That was something
thank you.
different.
Yeah, well, but
Amazing.
and just like when you're improvising, one of the things in wordplay to tie something in with the improv, and how that is tied in with the improv is I went to a party that my friend had, and she invited all her kind of posse conscious friends or whatever from different areas. And this gentleman, Kyle Cease, was there. Kyle Cease is a very famous comedian who
Yeah.
started doing conscious events. And my friend, knowing what I do, she went around the room and asked people what they, to say something about what they do. And at the end, she said, Harold, would you create a song about what everybody talked about? No pressure, So I did this, and Kyle was there, and he saw me do this, and he went, "Oh my God, you're doing with music what I'm doing
What
with
he
comedy,"
does on
and
stage. Yeah.
and I had no idea what his event was, and I show up to this 1,400 people at this beautiful venue, and I did 5 or 6 of those, and then we ended up going to the Dolby Theater, which is where they have America's Got Talent and all these other huge events. It's like I don't know, 4,000 seat venue, and ended up doing a recap song there. And so that was at one of the Kyle Cease events, because I opened all the shows and I tried to do something creative and different every time. My name is
Amazing.
Harold
So you're
Payne, and
bringing
I
your
have
posi
had the
music
joy
to. Oh, here's another one. Yeah.
of riding in a lift with an identical triplet whose name is Marlon or MJ. He gave me a beautiful scenic ride today. He didn't stretch it out to try to make an extra buck. He was right on time, and it was just my luck. And he wanted me to play a little Bill Withers for him. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away.
Yes, I
So
love it.
it was just, I was in a lift, and I got in with a guitar, and the guy said, well, if you got a guitar, you got to play something for me. So I just took it out and started playing.
It's such a gift that you have, that I'm sure listeners here and viewers would be thinking, wow, it's an incredible thing that you have. It would be amazing to nurture that. But I think you have to have that kind of mind and ability to have the patience and the trust. The trust, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the little baby steps that lead up to it, one of it is being a songwriter, and one of it is being a little bit crazy, and and the idea of not everyone is into wordplay. Some people groan, the moment that a pun comes along,
Yeah.
So if you're that person, that you probably wouldn't be the one that's doing improv.
Yeah. Wow.
Because you're, as my friend Jana says, it's thinking on your feet without tripping on your tongue.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Harold, how has would you say has prayer, or if you don't want to call it prayer, but just consciousness, awareness that there is this something greater, something more expansive that maybe has no name but is a knowing.
Right.
How has that influenced you up to now, with your being involved with posse music and the friends that you have and the people that are around you that play this music and bring it to the world?
Well, just to me, it kind of starts with gratitude, really. And just when you see all the incredible things that exist in the world, and see how the human body works and all the different parts of it, and the way that nature flows, it's just, how could you not possibly think that there's something greater? Actually, if I may, I have a song that
Please.
that speaks to that.
Absolutely. Please take your time.
We are part of something greater, part of something greater than any one of us could ever be. We are part of something greater, something so much greater than any one of us could ever be. We are all joined together in our hearts, in our minds, and in our souls. We are part of something greater, something so much greater than any one of us could ever be.
I was nearly crying there. Well, I wasn't nearly, I was. I mean, I was welling up, but not fully fledged crying. Beautiful, Harold. Because it's so true, isn't it?
I think that expresses where I come from.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of what prayer is and what consciousness and what gratitude all mixed together. And there's probably an acronym that you could come up with for prayer that has all those things are
in there.
Would you do that for positivity? You know.
Well, we're going to get to that at the end of the Cosmic Prayer soon.
Right. I'm no trying to come up with the acronyms, you know. But anyway.
So I just want to, you know, we talked about something before the show, and that was travel. And I wondered if you could just throw your amazing enlightenment on this, because you were saying that you've really traveled and journeyed and played on so many stages and in front of so many live audiences, and, you know, gifted your music and your words to so many people's hearts. And here we are now in where we are, and it's changed for musicians completely, where, you know, it's online, it's that or, you know, or nothing really at the moment, because we can't be present in front of people with that human connection. And so we've had to create new ways of sharing our message from our hearts with a screen in between.
With the screen in between.
I knew that as I was saying
it. I think you know what I mean. You know,
and it was that piece about you saying, sorry to interrupt, but that piece about you saying you've done all of that and traveled, and here you are traveling from your living room.
Right. No, and to me, that's an arc that I see of, like, you know, in the beginning, I mean, what really inspired my songwriting was travel and new experiences. And, you know, I was fortunate to grow up with a wonderful, loving family. And I almost needed a rite of passage where I took away the comfort zone and had to fend for myself. If I landed in Hong Kong in the middle of the night and the people that were supposed to pick me up weren't there, and you know, had very little money, and how you fend for yourself, and what that brings out in you, and meeting different people around the world, and the songs that come from that, and then being able to travel and go to festivals and meet different people and perform, and all that inspired, and then coming back around to, as you say, we're here in this pandemic, and there's a new, just like I was talking about, when you're put on the spot, it forces you to be really creative. When you're making up a song, it's forced morphological transition or whatever. It's just, I call it benign precariousness, actually, in my TEDx talk. But anyway, so that same thing of forcing you into a place where, okay, I have to pivot, is such a common word these days. And so this is the new travel. It's really, which fits in perfectly with you, because it's more of an inner journey, because you're in one place. You're having to travel from where you are So it brings this new creativity of like, okay, so um, I'm a live musician. I got to be playing. So I started doing Facebook Live. It started with Bill Withers, who's probably one of my all-time favorites. So it was really funny that Lyft driver asked me to
Yeah.
do a Bill Withers song. Um, um, and the idea of when he passed away, I was compelled to want to do something to honor him, and that's what made me put my cracked iPhone 6s phone on a stand and turn on Facebook Live and trust that it was going to work. And all these people showed up, so I said, okay, I'm going to start doing this. So I started doing, you don't have to drive, it's Facebook Live on Thursdays.
Okay. And you're still doing it.
Almost a year ago, and I started doing that,
Wow.
and then I started, because some people wanted a little bit later, so I did this 2-song Tuesday. And so the beautiful thing is that I've pulled out all these songs that I had forgotten about, really, and I realized that if I did started telling stories with the songs, that it's more engaging online in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the 2-song Tuesday, I do a couple of stories and a couple of songs, and usually one cover song, so I know what that story is because I wrote the song, and then maybe I do some research if I'm doing a cover song if I don't know something about it. And then I'm doing the 45-minute one where I do 3 covers, 3 originals, and 2 improvs, and I have people put something in the chat with a song title, and then I pick one randomly. I don't know who it is that's putting them in, so there's no bias. Just whatever comes to me, and I make up a song. And
Amazing.
The tie-in with that also, what this has been leading to, is I had already had the idea of doing a one-person, a solo show called Under the Radar, Over the Moon. The idea of being not super famous or anything like that, but making my living for my entire life doing something I love, and that journey, and the songs and the stories that come from it. And so it's just a perfect tie-in because I've got recordings of all these songs, and I'm just picking the best stories and songs that go together for this show I'm going to be doing.
Wow. So it's the creativity, isn't it, to reinvent all the time. And this has just allowed that to be, to reinvent how you're bringing what you love doing to the world.
Yeah,
so
and sometimes it's with the intention. You have the original idea and you're expanding on it, and sometimes the universe hits you over the head with something and you have to think on your feet.
Yeah.
Either way it comes is good. The pandemic being one, me traveling on purpose being another,
Yeah. And also I think for when you do get to travel again, you'll have this incredible toolkit, if you like, of what you've done online that you can take to people in a live situation. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. So Harold, thank you so much for being here on the Cosmic Prayer.
My great pleasure.
It's just amazing to connect with you again, and that you're sharing here on New Thought Media Network and lifting people's hearts with your songs. I wonder if you would share one more song.
Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe at the end of it, no pressure, to either do an improv or a recap or something at the end of that song.
So in other words, just keep going with that, or are you going to give me a title, or what,
Okay, so we can give you a title. Keep going into a title,
don't have to have one, but
we could have the Cosmic Prayer as a title.
Okay. You want me to do that now, or do a song first and then go into the Cosmic?
What feels more comfortable for you?
Well, I'm thinking about it now. Let's do the
and then maybe end on a song.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Harold Payne.
Okay, no pressure.
No pressure.
An improv based upon the Cosmic Prayer, okay? Is it okay if it's instrumental? Just kidding. I remember the moment I met Laura Topper. She had a vitality and enthusiasm. I knew that nothing could stop her. And here we are connected from across the world. This beautiful woman, girl. I'm glad that you're there. We're connecting on this cosmic prayer. It's a cosmic prayer. Look in your heart and it's there. However you express it or confess it, it comes out beautifully when you start from the heart. Dig down in your soul. The story that's told is a cosmic prayer. Cosmic prayer that reaches out to everyone. Well, I'm looking at the moon and you're looking at the sun. Somehow we're connected in a beautiful way. No matter how it is that you pray, we're all connected there with the cosmic prayer.
Harold Payne, I love you. Thank you so much. That was amazing. No pressure.
No pressure.
I think that needs to be the name of your new album.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And just do it on the spot.
No, and I sincerely remember meeting you and felt this enthusiasm from you. So when you came, I felt I wanted to, welcome you. And I remember meeting you and feeling that you had many great things to do, and you're doing them. So congratulations.
Oh, Harold, thank you so much. It's been my, absolute, it's a blessing for me to meet you. And when I started with Sunny Side Up before this, and you were just giving me your music and really raving about posi music and sharing other people with me and their contacts, and that's you are living your prayer. Pass it on. You're living it.
Thank you.
You're living it. Thank you so much, Harold, for being here on the Cosmic Prayer and shining your light. And I hope that you'll come back and share again.
I'd love to. Thank you.
That would be amazing. And for anybody that loves Harold's music, you're on Tuesdays, 2-Song Tuesdays on your Facebook page. And there we go.
Thursdays at 3, yeah.
Thursdays at 3.
West Coast time.
3.
Tuesday, 2-Song Tuesday at 6. Yeah.
Okay, all on your Facebook page, which is facebook.com Harold Payne. That's your Facebook page.
Well, it's actually facebook.com/Harold Payne Music 909. But if you just find Harold Payne and see some guy with a guitar,
it'll be you.
It's me.
Amazing. And would you honor us, Harold, with a song? Maybe Love Wins. That's
okay.
I love that. Or something, if you think there's something more relevant than that right now to kind of play us out.
It's your show. If you want me to play that song, I'm happy to do it.
You're here. If you've got the feeling to share something else with whoever is listening now and watching, there might be something more relevant, that you feel.
You turn the news on, you get your blues on from all the negativity. It's hard to wrap yourself around what's going down on TV. You can stress it, second guess it, you can think about it way too hard, or you can move the conversation from your head to your heart. Sometimes it's a matter of just letting go, holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins, circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson worth learning again and again. Love wins. We all matter. It doesn't matter if we're on one side or the other, as long as we find a way to get along with one another. We can agree to disagree, or maybe even realize that you see another point of view when you look through someone else's eyes. Sometimes it's as easy as just letting go, holding on to the one thing you know. Love wins, love wins, even when the phone rings. That's when improvisation begins, yeah. Who's ever calling? That's okay. I should have turned off my phone. What can I say? Whatever happens, love wins. That's what improv is all about.
Oh yeah.
When someone throws that curveball at you, you know.
Got to be ready.
Yeah.
Oh, Harold, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And for sharing. And your songs are so beautiful and so perfect. And for anybody viewing right now, they can find all of your music on haroldpayne.com. You have a YouTube channel as well, and you're on Facebook, where you're showing up twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and people can watch you and give their love offerings and donate, because that's the way you're making your what can I say? It's your living as well. It's what you do every week, to show up, and people can give from their hearts. It's that paying it forwards,
passing it on.
Passing it on. Yeah. Yeah. So
thank you, Laura. My pleasure.
Thank you, Harold, and thank you for you. If you're watching right now, and if you've enjoyed this, pass this on and share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook. Let people that don't know about New Thought Media know about it, or don't know about Harold know about him, and share the love here, because that's really what we're all about. And New Thought Media Network is here as a ministry that is happening 7 days a week. There are many, many amazing broadcasts and shows that come out, and meditations and visionings and conversations. And so if you like New Thought Media Network and this has touched your heart in any way, then do give your love offering. The link is here, and that's another way of passing it on and sharing the love and supporting Reverend Robert Brzezinski and his amazing vision for bringing positivity to everybody here on our planet. So thank you again for joining us, Harold, and love and blessings to everybody that's watching.
Cheers.
Till next time on the Cosmic Prayer.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us again next week for Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper. Thought Radio. Music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.